Lost temples in emerald jungles, a mysterious civilization that created architectural masterpieces, and a tragic history intertwined with secrets and enigmas. Cambodia beckons with an unfathomable aura of ancient mysteries and unsolved puzzles. In our iceberg format journey, we will delve into the astonishing world of this country, where the majestic Angkor Wat, a backdrop for Hollywood blockbusters, is merely the tip of an enormous iceberg of secrets. What lies behind the smiles of the locals who endured one of the most horrific genocides of the 20th century, when the Khmer Rouge regime wiped out nearly a quarter of the population? How did the ancient Khmer Empire, which once ruled over all of Southeast Asia, transform into one of the poorest countries in the region, only to begin its slow resurgence? What enigmatic rituals are still performed deep within the impenetrable jungles, connecting modern Cambodians with their ancient deities? Today, we will journey from the superficial, well-known facts to the depths of astonishing discoveries that will compel you to view this mysterious country in an entirely different light. Some of these revelations may seem incredible, but isn't that the essence of the magic found in the true discovery of the unexplored? Fact 1. The Great Colossus of the Jungle, the only architectural wonder to grace a national flag. When we talk about Angkor Wat, we are not merely discussing an ancient temple, but a colossal religious complex, sprawling over an area of more than 200 hectares. It is the largest religious monument in the world. What truly makes it unique is that Angkor Wat is the only architectural structure in the world honored to be depicted on a national flag. Consider this. Among all the countries in the world, only Cambodia has chosen as its main symbol not abstract figures, nor animals or plants, but a creation of human hands erected nearly 1,000 years ago. The majestic 5 towers, symbolizing Mount Meru, the abode of the gods in Hindu mythology, have become not only a source of national pride, but also a magnet for filmmakers from around the globe. Hollywood directors have transformed these ancient stones into the backdrop for blockbuster films such as Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and Me and My Shadow. Yet even the most modern special effects cannot convey the mystical atmosphere that envelops this place at dawn. When the first rays of sunlight touch the ancient bas-reliefs depicting celestial dancers known as apsaras. How did the ancient Khmers manage to create such a perfect structure without modern technologies? How did they transport and lift stone blocks weighing several tons? And why, among all the majestic structures of antiquity, is it Angkor Wat that has been honored with such a distinction? To become the symbol of an entire nation, its face before the world? Fact 2. Phnom Penh, a mysterious capital at the crossroads of 4 rivers, where the past meets the future. Yet, the mysteries of Angkor Wat are just the beginning of a plunge into the enigmatic world of Cambodia. If we turn our gaze to the modern capital of this ancient land, we are presented with an equally intriguing picture. Phnom Penh, situated at the mystical confluence of 4 rivers, the Mekong, Tonle Sap, Basak, and Tonle Touch, once proudly bore the name Pearl of Asia. What led the ancient Khmers to choose this very spot for their capital? Perhaps they sensed the unique energy of this remarkable natural phenomenon. 4 waterways converging at a single point like a guiding finger of fate? Today, Phnom Penh represents a striking contrast of eras and styles. Majestic colonial buildings of French architecture stand side by side with soaring modern skyscrapers, while luxurious 5-star hotels cast their shadows over the humble abodes of ordinary Cambodians. In this city, the past and present intertwine in a whimsical dance, creating a sense of timelessness. The narrow streets of the old town preserve the whispers of centuries, while the wide boulevards of the central districts pulse to the rhythm of the 21st century. Remarkably, Phnom Penh is virtually the only truly large city in the country. The second largest city in Cambodia, Battambang, has more than 10 times fewer residents than the capital. This creates a unique situation. all urban life, all economic and cultural processes are concentrated in one point, like a giant lens focusing the energy of an entire nation. Why have other cities in Cambodia been unable to develop into metropolises? What historical forces, or perhaps ancient curses, have influenced such an unusual distribution of the population? These questions remain unanswered, adding another touch to the mysterious portrait of this remarkable country. Fact 3. The mystical realm of Theravada, a land where spirituality permeates every aspect of existence. As one delves deeper into the mysteries of Cambodia, it is impossible not to notice the all-encompassing presence of the ancient form of Buddhism, like an invisible thread connecting the past and present of this enigmatic country. Remarkably, about 95% of the population adheres to Theravada Buddhism, making Cambodia one of the most religiously homogeneous countries in the world. What drives an entire nation to follow the teachings of the Buddha with such unanimity? Perhaps the answer lies in the centuries-old trials faced by the Khmer people. The streets of cities and villages are illuminated by the bright orange robes of monks, creating a truly mystical spectacle. Like living embers of ancient wisdom, they move through the currents of modern life, reminding everyone of eternal values. An astonishing tradition, unparalleled in the Western world, prescribes that every Khmer man must take monastic vows at least once in his life, even if only for a brief period. This custom fosters a unique spiritual connection between generations. Sons follow in the footsteps of their fathers and grandfathers, immersing themselves in meditative practices and the study of ancient Pali texts. Temples, or wats, become not just places of worship, but genuine centers of community life, where vital issues are addressed, meetings are held, and festivals are celebrated. Can one imagine a deeper fusion of religion and everyday life? The contrast is particularly striking between the tragic history of a country that has endured genocide and prolonged wars and the remarkable serenity radiating from the faces of its inhabitants. It seems as though the ancient wisdom of Buddhism has created an invisible shield, protecting the inner world of the Khmers from external upheavals. But how was this spiritual tradition preserved even during the darkest years of the Khmer Rouge regime, when religion was banned and thousands of monks were killed? What mysterious force helped Buddhism to rise again, like a phoenix from the ashes, reclaiming its central place in the lives of the Cambodian people? This phenomenon of spiritual resilience remains one of the most intriguing mysteries of modern Cambodia. Fact 4. The monetary anomaly of Cambodia, a country where foreign currency became its own. Yet, as we delve deeper into the mysterious world of Khmer civilization, we encounter a truly astonishing economic phenomenon that leaves many researchers and travelers baffled. Imagine a state where a national currency exists but plays a secondary role, yielding to the monetary symbols of a distant overseas power. This is the scene one can observe on the streets of Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, where price tags in shops are marked in US dollars, and locals effortlessly handle foreign currency as if it has always been a part of their culture. How could it happen that a sovereign state has effectively relinquished its economic independence in favor of the currency of a country thousands of kilometers away? The answer lies in the tragic events of the 1970s, when the Khmer Rouge regime completely dismantled the country's financial system, declaring the national currency, the riel, illegal. After the striking, the local one can but what and will. Fact 5. The enigma of Khmer cuisine. How do Khmer flavors intertwine with history? As we delve into the world of Khmer cuisine, we uncover not only unique traditions but also an astonishing symphony of flavors shaped by numerous factors, including geographical location, climate, and the influence of neighboring cultures. While Khmer cuisine is less spicy than Thai or Vietnamese, it nonetheless possesses its own distinctive charm. One of the most iconic ingredients is the fish sauce, prahok, which has a characteristic, rather pungent smell, reminiscent of the sea, and is used in various dishes. This sauce, like many other culinary elements, bears the imprint of history, as its recipe has been passed down through generations, preserving the spirit of Khmer identity. Another standout representative of Khmer cuisine is amok. This traditional curry is prepared with coconut milk and fresh herbs such as lemongrass and turmeric. This delicacy is typically made with fish or chicken and served in banana leaves, which not only adds to its aesthetic appeal, but also enhances the depth of flavor. Interestingly, Khmer cuisine emphasizes the freshness of ingredients, making each dish truly unique. Unlike its neighbors, Khmer cuisine offers a more subtle balance of flavors, where sweetness and sourness often intertwine, creating a harmony that beautifully complements the aromas of fresh spices. But what exactly makes Khmer cuisine so special? Perhaps it is its ability to blend tradition and modernity, creating a unique culinary experience? Or maybe it is the influence of historical events that have shaped the nation's palate. In the end, the question remains, what is the place of Khmer cuisine in the global culinary culture, and will it be able to preserve its traditions in a world that constantly seeks novelty? Fact 6. The ominous shadows of war. Unexploded mines in Cambodia. Cambodia is a country where history and modernity intertwine with the harrowing consequences of prolonged conflicts. After decades of wars that have left deep scars on the land and in the souls of its people, Cambodia remains one of the most heavily mined countries in the world. Hundreds of thousands of mines and unexploded ordnance continue to threaten the lives of civilians, turning every walk through familiar streets into a potentially perilous adventure. Once peaceful, the nature of these places now conceals the sinister remnants of war, which could erupt at any moment. It is terrifying to imagine how many lives have been shattered by these invisible enemies. On the streets, one may encounter individuals with amputated limbs who have fallen victim to these unseen traps. Their stories of struggle and survival, of how life persists even amidst constant peril, stand as true testaments to human resilience. But how does demining actually take place? Here, not only humans come to the rescue, but also mine-detecting rats, remarkable creatures specifically trained to detect mines. These small yet brave beings are capable of identifying dangerous objects, sensing them beneath the ground, and thereby saving lives. Thanks to their assistance, organizations working in Cambodia have managed to clear thousands of hectares of land, returning it to the people. Yet, this is merely a drop in the ocean. How many more mines lie beneath the surface, waiting for someone to inadvertently step on them? And what will the consequences be for future generations? How much longer will the shadows of war haunt this beautiful country? The questions remain unanswered, and the enigma surrounding unexploded mines continues to weigh heavily on the minds of those striving for peace and prosperity. Fact 7. The mysterious floating villages on Lake Tonle Sap. Life on water. Lake Tonle Sap in Cambodia is a remarkable place where water and life intertwine in a unique dance, creating a stunning spectacle. During the rainy season, this lake, which usually appears as a calm surface, expands several times, engulfing the surrounding lands and transforming them into endless aquatic expanses. Entire villages, built on wooden platforms, seem to hover on the surface, while their residents, adapted to this unusual way of life, lead an entirely unique lifestyle. Here, there are no familiar streets, only winding canals along which boats, the primary means of transportation, navigate. Children attend floating schools where lessons take place in a constant state of motion, while fishermen set out to catch fish using ancient methods passed down through generations. Shops and churches have also found their place on the water. Bell towers rise above the waves, and stalls brimming with goods appear as if gathered from a dream. The locals lead a fishing lifestyle relying on the riches of the lake, which generously provides for them. But how do they cope with the challenges that life on water presents. How do they ensure the safety of their homes during heavy rains and storms? These floating villages are full of mysteries and enigmas, as each house and each boat tells its own story of survival and adaptation. How many more secrets does this enchanting place hold? And what will become of these communities when water levels begin to change due to global warming? The answers remain unclear, and the mystery of life on Lake Tonle Sap continues to entice explorers eager to unravel its secrets. Fact 8. The Shadows of Spirits. Worship of Nak and pray in the everyday life of Cambodians. Despite Cambodia's reputation for Buddhism, the traditions of worshipping the spirits of Nak and pray are deeply embedded in the daily lives of the local people, coexisting alongside the official religion. These spirits, residing in nature, are regarded as guardians of places and ancestors, and their blessing is essential for a successful life. Before the construction of a house or any significant event, Cambodians perform rituals to seek permission from the spirits. This sacred act symbolizes respect for the unseen forces that, according to local beliefs, can influence their destinies. In every home, one can find small spirit houses adorned with flowers and offerings, where locals leave food and drinks to appease their invisible protectors. These altars become not only a part of the interior, but also an important element of life, reminding inhabitants of the need for harmony with the surrounding world. There are many stories about how the spirits of Nak and pray have helped people avoid disasters or brought good fortune at crucial moments. How do Cambodians manage to blend Buddhist practices with such ancient beliefs? Why do these traditions, despite their antiquity, remain so significant in modern society? In every corner of the country, from bustling cities to quiet villages, traces of this worship can be found, and each home becomes a kind of temple where the memory of ancestors and their wisdom lives on. But what will happen to these traditions as the younger generation seeks modernization and changes in their perspectives? The mystery of worshipping the spirits of Nak and pray remains unsolved, and perhaps it holds answers to eternal questions about the connection between humans, their roots, and nature. How many more secrets does this unique culture conceal, and how will it evolve in the future? Fact 9. The enchanting dance of the Apsara, a mystery rising from the ashes. The Apsara, this ancient Khmer dance, is regarded not only as a cultural treasure of Cambodia, but also as a true embodiment of beauty and grace. Graceful dancers, adorned in vibrant traditional costumes, perform intricate movements that convey the spirit of an ancient culture and history. Every gesture of their hands, every line of their bodies is filled with symbolism and meaning, transporting the audience to a realm where myths and reality intertwine. However, like many other aspects of Khmer culture, this dance found itself on the brink of extinction. During the reign of the Khmer Rouge, when the country plunged into chaos and violence, almost all dancers were killed, and the traditions teetered on the edge of oblivion. How could such a wonderful and refined art form disappear? How can this heritage be preserved when its bearers have been annihilated? Yet, as is often the case, even in the darkest times, sparks of hope emerge. In recent decades, efforts to revive the Apsara dance have become a reality. And now this unique style once again fills the hearts of people with pride in their cultural heritage. Cambodians are restoring lost traditions by teaching young girls the art of dance, imparting knowledge and skills that were on the verge of vanishing. But what drives these dancers when they take the stage? It is not only the desire to preserve their culture, but also the wish to tell the world about the suffering and hopes of their people. In every movement, in every note, there resonates a story they carry in their hearts. And while the Apsara dance is reclaiming its place in society, the question remains, what is the future of this tradition in a modern world that changes so rapidly? How can this unique culture be preserved among youth eager for novelty? The enigma surrounding the Apsara dance remains relevant, and perhaps within it lies the answer to the question of how art can survive and flourish despite the most difficult circumstances. How many more secrets does this magical dance conceal? And what will it look like in decades to come? Fact 10. The bamboo train. A mystery moving along abandoned tracks. In the province of Battambang, there exists a unique mode of transportation that has become a true boon for the locals and an attraction for tourists. This bamboo train, consisting of makeshift platforms assembled on bamboo poles, travels along derelict railway lines powered by motorcycle engines. How could people create such an astonishing and seemingly simple mechanism, which has become a symbol of creativity and survival? Every time the platform sets off, the gentle rustling of bamboo fills the air, while the wind brings with it the freshness of the tropical forest. Passengers enjoy picturesque views as the train rushes along, seemingly transporting them back to an era when this route thrived with life. However, what happens when two of these trains approach each other? It creates a genuine theatrical scene. One of the trains halts, and the locals, like seasoned performers, swiftly dismantle their platform to allow their counterpart to pass. How did this become a part of their culture? This process, though it appears simple, actually requires skill and coordination, and each such moment imbues the atmosphere with a special spirit of unity and mutual aid. But how will the bamboo train, this emblem of local ingenuity, withstand the test of time? With the shift towards modern technologies, how long can this unique means of transportation continue to exist? The mystery of the bamboo train remains unresolved, and perhaps it holds the secret of how traditions can coexist with progress, remaining alive and relevant in a changing world. How many more incredible stories do these abandoned tracks conceal, waiting to be rediscovered? Fact 11. The mystery of the mass wedding. When love unites hundreds of hearts. Every year in Cambodia, an extraordinary event takes place that captures the attention of both locals and tourists alike. This is a mass wedding ceremony, featuring hundreds of couples, representing a vibrant manifestation of love and unity. But how did this tradition come about? In a country where many families face financial hardships and cannot afford an expensive wedding, the government or wealthy sponsors take the initiative to organize collective ceremonies. This ritual not only allows couples to realize their dream of a wedding, but also creates an atmosphere of unity among the participants. Each year, on this special day, the streets are filled with joy, laughter, and music, as couples dressed in traditional attire gather to exchange vows of love. But this is not just a wedding. It is an entire 3-day celebration packed with rituals. The first stage involves hair-cutting ceremonies, symbolizing the transition from youth to adulthood. In this moment, the young people, surrounded by their loved ones, bid farewell to their past as they prepare for a new chapter. This is followed by a traditional rite, where couples perform ritualistic actions related to blessing their love. But what is the true power of this tradition? Why do so many people come together on one day to celebrate not only their love, but also the unity of a shared culture? Each wedding becomes not just a personal event, but a part of a larger social tapestry, where every participant feels a connection to something greater. However, despite all this joy, a question remains. How long can this tradition endure in a changing world, where individuality and personal preferences are becoming increasingly relevant? Nonetheless, the mass wedding ceremony in Cambodia continues to remain a mystery that is deeper than just the uniting of couples. It reflects a culture, traditions, and hopes that may be lost if we do not cherish them. How many more wonderful rites and rituals like this are hidden in the world, waiting to be rediscovered and appreciated? Fact 12. The enigma of the Cambodian twins, shadows of the past on the killing fields. Cambodia, a country with a rich and multi-layered history, harbors terrifying secrets that are difficult to comprehend. One of the darkest chapters of its recent past is the killing fields, where mass killings took place during the reign of the Khmer Rouge under the leadership of Pol Pot, claiming the lives of millions. The S-21 prison, once a school, was transformed into a true hell, where thousands of innocents were tortured and killed, deprived of their right to life merely for their knowledge and education. Imagine, a person wearing glasses automatically became a target of suspicion and persecution. How could a regime based on the ideas of agrarian communism treat intellectuals so brutally, those who could have helped the country develop? This mysterious and tragic period not only changed the face of Cambodia, but also had a profound impact on its demographics. How many people were lost? How many families were destroyed? In contemporary society, there is a noticeable lack of elderly people. They became victims of a ruthless policy that sought to erase everything that deviated from the regime's ideals. The Cambodian twins, as they are called, are not just statistics. They are living stories, cut short at the peak of their lives. But how does this painful legacy affect the current generation? How does the youth, raised in the shadow of these horrors, cope with the burden of memory about their ancestors? And how can we preserve the memory of those who suffered, so that such atrocities never happen again? The killing fields remain a grim reminder that even the brightest dreams can be shattered by hatred and madness. But how many more such places, filled with secrets and tragedies, does our planet conceal? And how can we, the modern witnesses, understand and appreciate these lessons of history? Fact 13. The Enigma of King God Jayavarman VII, Divine Ruler or Dangerous Tyrant. Jayavarman VII undoubtedly became one of the most enigmatic and influential figures in the history of the Khmer Empire. This king, who reigned in the late 12th century, was not merely a ruler, but a true deity in the eyes of his people. It was during his reign that grand temples such as the magnificent Angkor Wat were built, along with entire cities that served as testaments to his genius and ambition. Yet Jayavarman VII did not limit himself to the construction of temples and architectural masterpieces. He established an extensive network of hospitals and shelters, which was a remarkable rarity for that era. How could he care for his people in such a way, creating systems of aid and support in a time when life was filled with hardships and unpredictability? Perhaps this was his method of consolidating power and crafting a cult of personality that allowed him to become not only a ruler, but also a deity in the eyes of his subjects. Legends tell that after his death, his images were intentionally defaced by subsequent rulers who feared his might even after he had departed this world. This raises the question, what precisely frightened his successors? Was it the fear of the great ruler's return, or the desire to erase his memory so as not to remind others of his inherent power and influence? Reflecting on this, we might wonder, how could a cult of personality so profoundly impact the future of dynasties and reigns? And what role did the memory of Jayavarman VII play in the history of the Khmer Empire? The mystical aura surrounding his figure continues to evoke interest and admiration, leaving many questions unanswered. And so, as we explore his achievements, we cannot help but ponder, how many more secrets do the pages of history hold, waiting to be unveiled? Fact 14. The mysterious Pachum Ben, the Festival of Ancestors' Souls. Every year in Cambodia, a time arrives when the worlds of the living and the dead intersect in a mysterious dance. Pachum Ben, also known as the Festival of Ancestors' Souls, envelops the country in an atmosphere of mystique and profound respect for those who have passed away. During this time, Cambodians believe that the gates of hell open, allowing the spirits of deceased relatives to return to the earth. How does this unusual event unfold? For 2 weeks, people prepare rice balls, which they then throw on the ground as offerings to the hungry spirits. This ritual, rich in symbolism and meaning, is intended to soothe the restless souls. But this is just the beginning. Over the course of one night, families visit up to 7 temples, performing rites and leaving offerings to ensure their ancestors are not forgotten. How have these ancient traditions persisted to this day? It is likely connected to the deep roots of Cambodian culture, where respect for ancestors is paramount. Strangely, it is believed that if the restless souls are not properly honored, they may curse their living relatives, bringing misfortunes and hardships upon them. This raises the question, how significant is this ritual for contemporary society? While some view it as a tribute to tradition, others see it as a means of maintaining a connection with those who have departed. Chumben is not just a celebration. It is also a time for reflection on life and death, on how the past influences the present. And while we know much about what occurs during this mystical period, the mystery of how exactly the spirits impact our lives remains unsolved. It seems that traditions like Pichumben open doors to a world full of secrets and enigmas, prompting us to ponder how much more remains unexplained in the history of humanity. Fact 15. Secret tunnels beneath Angkor, treasures and supernatural guardians. In the heart of Cambodia, beneath the majestic temples of Angkor Wat, lie mysterious underground tunnels that remain an unsolved enigma. Researchers believe that these tunnels may not only contain priceless treasures of the ancient Khmers, but also artifacts that could illuminate the religious practices of this vanished civilization. Recent discoveries utilizing LiDAR laser technology have allowed scientists to glimpse beneath the surface and uncover hidden structures previously unsuspected. How is it that these tunnels have remained shrouded in mystery for centuries? Local legends speak of supernatural beings dwelling in these dark depths, guarding ancient treasures and inaccessible knowledge. It is said that these guardians can take on various forms, ranging from mythical creatures to ancestral spirits, and no one has dared to enter the tunnels without proper respect and preparation. As archaeologists continue their quest, the question arises, what else do these ancient passages conceal? Some researchers speculate that the tunnels could have been part of an extensive network connecting temples and shrines used for rituals and ceremonies. Others speak of possible treasures that may have been hidden in anticipation of invasions or destruction. How could these subterranean labyrinths remain unknown? Perhaps it is because the inhabitants of Angkor, despite their achievements, left behind not only grand temples, but also many mysteries waiting for their moment. Do these tunnels, filled with legends and enigmas, truly hold treasures that could transform our understanding of history? The question remains open, and perhaps in the future, we will unravel this mystery and discover what other secrets ancient civilizations keep. How many more such hidden places exist in the world, waiting for researchers and seekers of mysteries to uncover them? Cambodia is a country where ancient traditions intertwine with modern aspirations, creating a remarkable mosaic of culture and history. Against the backdrop of the majestic temples of Angkor, which have witnessed both triumphs and tragedies, we see the contrast between a dark past and the hope for a bright future. This land, filled with mysteries and enigmas, remains unsolved in terms of its cultural heritage. We have only scratched the surface of what Cambodia has to offer. How does special attention should be given to a mature audience that remembers the times of the Cold War and can understand more deeply the dramatic events of the second half of the 20th century, which left an indelible mark on the Cambodian people? Their life experiences allow them to see historical changes from a new perspective, appreciate cultural diversity, and understand the importance of preserving heritage for future generations. In this context, ponder which facts about Cambodia surprised you the most. What aspects of life in this country would you like to learn more about? If you have already visited Cambodia, share your impressions. How has this remarkable country influenced your worldview? The mysteries of Cambodia are just the tip of the iceberg, and perhaps new discoveries await us ahead that could illuminate even more pages of this enigmatic history.